Hi, I'm Katie Stone, Community Promotion Specialist in the Immunizations Program at Waco-McLennan County Public Health District. In light of the recent measles outbreak that's gained a lot of media attention, I want to talk to you a little bit today about measles. Measles is a highly contagious viral disease. It is one of the leading causes of death among young children worldwide, even though a safe and cost-effective vaccine is available. It is transmitted through the air via respiratory droplets, so when a person sneezes or coughs, and the virus can survive in the air for several hours. Measles is contagious 4 days before and 4 days after the onset of the rash. 90% of unvaccinated people exposed to measles will contract the disease. The first signs of measles occur 10 to 12 days after exposure and typically last 2 to 4 days. This is the prodrome phase of measles. This is characterized by fever up to 105 degrees and cold and flu-like symptoms such as cough, runny nose, and conjunctivitis. Then the patient will contract the rash approximately 14 days after exposure. The rash begins on the face and head and then typically spreads to the trunk and other extremities, and this rash will last 5 to 6 days. Here you can see 2 children who have developed measles. On the left, you can see a child who has developed the rash in their face, and you can see the conjunctivitis in his eyes. On the right, the child is a little further along in the rash, and that rash you can see is spread throughout his whole body. Approximately 30% of reported measles cases have one or more complications. Those may include hospitalization, diarrhea, ear infections, pneumonia, seizures, and even death. Complications are more common in children under 5 and in adults 20 and older. There are also additional complications related to birth outcome in pregnant women who contract measles. So now I want to talk about the burden of this disease globally. In 2013, there were 145,700 measles-related deaths. That's about 400 deaths every day or 16 deaths every hour. Between the years 2000 and 2013, the Measles and Rubella Initiative made a big push to increase vaccination in children worldwide. During this time, measles vaccination resulted in a 75% drop in measles death. Measles vaccination prevented an estimated 15.6 million deaths, making the measles vaccine one of the best buys in public health. This graph was published by the World Health Organization and shows the number of reported cases over the last 30 years in comparison to coverage with a measles-containing vaccine. The relationship between these two is pretty clear. As we have been able to cover a greater percentage of the population through vaccination, we see a significant decline in the number of reported measles cases. This map was also published by the World Health Organization and shows countries based on their coverage levels as of 2013. The darker blue represents countries with 90% coverage or better. There are 129 countries in dark blue, which is great. However, we know how contagious this virus is, so low coverage in the remaining countries poses a big threat even to the countries who are well vaccinated. Now we'll talk more about measles, specifically in the United States. In 1978, CDC set a goal to eliminate measles in the U.S. In 1981, we had seen an 80% drop in cases. In 1989, there were several large outbreaks in vaccinated school children that led to the current 2-dose recommendation. In 2000, measles was declared eliminated in the United States. Measles elimination is defined as the absence of continuous disease transmission for 12 months or more in a specific geographic area. Measles is no longer endemic or constantly present in the United States. Keep in mind that eliminated doesn't mean that the virus doesn't exist. It means that whenever it does exist, it can be traced back to being imported from somewhere else. The term eliminated shouldn't be confused with the term eradicated, which refers to the reduction to 0 worldwide incidence of infection. The only disease at this point to have been completely eradicated is smallpox. Here's a graph published by the CDC depicting the number of cases in the U.S. every year since 2001. You'll notice there have been several outbreaks in recent years. I want to talk a little more about the outbreaks we've seen in recent years. In 2013, we saw 11 outbreaks. 3 of these had more than 20 cases, including an outbreak with 58 cases in New York and another with 25 cases in Dallas-Fort Worth associated with a church. In 2014, we saw 23 outbreaks. This included one very large outbreak of 383 cases occurring primarily among unvaccinated religious communities in Ohio. Many of the 2014 cases in the United States originated with travelers coming from the Philippines, which was experiencing a large outbreak at that time. This year, in 2015, there has been a large outbreak which originated at Disneyland in California. As of March 27th of this year, 146 cases have been reported as part of that outbreak. This map was published by the CDC and depicts the number of cases that have developed associated with the Disneyland outbreak. You can see that California has been most heavily hit by this outbreak, but 6 other states have reported cases associated with the Disneyland outbreak as well. When we have outbreaks in the United States, we typically see that the majority of people who contract measles are unvaccinated, whether that is by choice, medical reasons, or because they are too young to receive the vaccine. Measles is still a common problem in many parts of the world, including some European countries, Asia, the Pacific, and Africa. Travelers with measles continue to bring measles to the United States. Outbreaks are most common when the disease is brought back into pockets of unvaccinated populations. There are 2 different measles-containing vaccines available: MMR, which contains measles, mumps, and rubella, and MMRV, which contains measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella. The measles vaccine is recommended at a 2-dose schedule. For healthy children, the first dose is recommended at 12 to 15 months, and the second dose is given at 4 to 6 years. 2 doses are recommended for anyone born during or after 1957. Anyone who has had a severe allergic reaction to a vaccine component or following a prior dose of a measles-containing vaccine should not receive the measles vaccine. Those who should not receive the vaccine also include pregnant women, those who are severely immunosuppressed, those with moderate or severe acute illness, or those with a family history of seizures. Side effects of measles-containing vaccines may occur 5 to 12 days post-vaccination. The most common side effects include joint symptoms, fever, and rash. Approximately 5% of people may develop a rash that resembles measles in a localized area. This is not the measles virus and cannot transmit the disease. There is no evidence that any vaccine causes autism or autism spectrum disorder. Evidence has been reviewed by the Institute of Medicine and the American Academy of Pediatrics. Both groups have independently concluded that there is no evidence suggesting this association. According to data from the 2013 National Immunization Survey, children 19 to 35 months have a vaccination coverage with measles-containing vaccine in the U.S. of 91.9% and in Texas of 92.7%. Data is not available for smaller regions. The 2013 NIS survey concluded that 1 in 12 children are not receiving the first dose of measles-containing vaccine on time. Texas is one of 20 states that allow vaccine exemptions based on personal belief objections. 48 states allow exemptions for religious reasons, and all 50 states allow exemptions for medical reasons. In Texas, the conscientious exemption rate is 0.75%. That's approximately 1 in every 133 students. Here in McLennan County, we have an exemption rate of 0.31%, which is approximately 1 in every 322 students. At the Health District, our preparedness and epidemiology programs partner with local healthcare providers to make sure that as a county we are prepared should someone test positive for measles. Our immunizations clinic is a walk-in clinic offering extended hours. We offer all child and adult recommended vaccines, as well as vaccines recommended for travelers. Our immunizations outreach program promotes the use of MTRAC, the statewide vaccine registry. We also conduct school and daycare audits and provide community education. Thank you for watching. I hope this information has been helpful. If you have questions about measles or any other vaccine-preventable diseases, please visit our website.